The Ecumenical Advocacy Alliance is a network of over 80 organizations, faith-based organizations, who have joined together to advocate on focused issues currently, HIV and food security.
We have many churches and Christian organizations doing advocacy together. This is something very different from other faith-based organizations around the world.
We need the Ecumenical Advocacy Alliance because of its distinctive, unique campaign style. The campaign style for HIV engages the constituent or participating organizations at a grassroots level, brings them together, raises issues that are important to the constituents, and brings it to an international arena.
The Ecumenical Advocacy Alliance is one of the few networks that's available in the world today, which can involve all the denominations, all the religious groups and secular groups to work for the welfare of the world.
The world produces enough food for everyone, yet so many continue to go hungry.
Food security is the biblical mandate that is given to all the churches and the Christians. Food is the source for life. Without food, we cannot talk about life.
We have to thirst and hunger for righteousness and be merciful. So advocacy is, I think, central to the Christian faith.
For Christians, it is important to campaign for HIV because today we have 37 million people living with HIV. 2 million people have been newly infected this year, and 1.2 million died because of HIV and AIDS. There are 3.3 million children living with HIV, and only 22 million people are accessing the treatment that they need. This is an issue of injustice, and as people of faith, we cannot turn our back to them.
Faith responses to HIV, particularly recently, have been declining significantly. And a group like the Ecumenical Advocacy Alliance has the potential to remotivate and reinvigorate the responses from faith communities.
There's still quite a bit of unfinished business to do. There's still too many people living with HIV that are not on treatment. There are too many people who as yet don't know their status, and there's still too many things about long-term survival with HIV that are not as yet known.
I believe that Christian organizations, firstly, are going to respond to the call to get involved in HIV because of our fundamental belief in human dignity. And if we're going to follow what it means to protect human dignity, we have to look at everything that makes people vulnerable to HIV.
Faith is an integral part of many of the lives of people who live with HIV. And it's a part that's often forgotten. Too often we treat with people living with HIV from a biomedical perspective, as though they are merely specimens with a disease and the disease has to be treated. But we often forget that we're actually human beings with more than a disease, with lives, with families. Many of us are faithful, prayerful people, and so often those are the parts of ourselves, the human parts of who we are, that are often neglected in the response for HIV.
Advocacy is never an easy issue, and certainly to find funding for advocacy is difficult. One of the great advantages of the Ecumenical Advocacy Alliance is that it works with faith communities which are particularly placed to do advocacy at high level already. The EAA works with the membership of the World Council of Churches and Christian bodies outside of the World Council of Churches to be able to get engagement on various issues relating to HIV. And these can be as diverse as intellectual property to ending stigma and discrimination, access to treatment. It's the broad range, and that's why the Ecumenical Advocacy Alliance is so important.